CosmicRadio.TV. Welcome to Jump Point, where we'll talk the gamut of gaming topics. I'm your host, Roberto Villegas, joined by
Bryce Castillo.
And today we're going to do something a bit different, mainly because we've been playing a lot of different games that are on separate system between you and I. Mm-hmm. We're going to kind of talk about those two games, sort of a Q&A sort of session.
Yeah, I thought that would be a really interesting way to sort of break up these long periods between these long discussions, right?
Yeah.
So we both played a different game today. Mm-hmm. Or we've been spending a lot of time with a longer game that would be hard to do a full-length discussion, 100% style, So I'm going to be asking you questions about Smash for, I guess I could ask you for Wii U and DS. Cause you have both.
Yeah, exactly. You could do both.
And then you're going to ask me about the PS4 version of GTA 5, the new re-release.
Correct. Let's start with you first, GTA 5, since that's the big one. I got to ask something, because something I've been wondering. Do animals really add anything to the game? Because I know they added animals to it, and they're sort of an element. Mm-hmm. Like, did they make the world more real? Did they even make it more challenging because they tend to hunt you down or something like that?
It's not that they added animals. It's that they extended the scope of animals.
Okay.
So there were already mountain lions and coyotes and dogs, but now there's more of it. There are cats. I think there's more species of dogs, a cormorant, and one of the new elements of the game is that you can go do these photography checklist.
Oh, okay.
Where you go out to nature and find these different animals.
Right.
You snap a photo and you send it to the Los Santos Tourism Board. And then that's its own little mission, and that's only for Franklin. So that's one of the weird things about these editions is that, like all the other side missions in the game, they're a little bit focused towards one person. But if you compare it to like the spaceship parts, where kind of anybody can pick them up,
right?
Only Franklin can do
the photos.
The photos, yeah.
Interesting. All right, and of course, because it's such a big thing when GTA 5. How have you been liking the first-person view? Do you think it helps you out? Does it make sense for GTA as a whole, as a franchise?
It's definitely a whole new experience. That's what it is. Is like you suddenly have maybe a fourth of the visual information that you normally have, right? So it's a new way of handling that world.
Okay.
But they've been really they do a really interesting thing where you can sort of piecemeal out where you have first person. So you can have split it up between when you're driving, when you're on foot, and when you're in cover or taking cover. So you can be third person when you're in cover, but first person everywhere else.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because when you're in cover, you can't. That's not going to really help you as far as firing. I mean, it's a challenge, exactly. I guess. And I've kind of been going back and forth. I'm not a first person shooter guy. I'm not really good at them. But it's definitely fun. I mean, when you're driving and you get in a head-on collision and you suddenly are just not in the car anymore and you're just seeing sky for a second.
Yeah.
And then just the whole experience of getting thrown out of a car or off of a motorcycle or getting in a fist fight with somebody.
Yeah, but say, because when I played a little bit of it, just that punch is so much more visceral, much more real.
It really is a new perspective on everything, and it's not like it's difficult to go back and forth.
Okay, so here's a question, a very PS4 specific question.
Sure.
Does it take any advantage of the new inputs? Because I know that, obviously the PS4 has touchpad and some other interesting support to it. Does GTA 5 make use of those in some interesting ways?
It does. Yeah. So when you're in the car, you can swipe up and down to switch your in-car weapon, and left and right to switch the radio station. Or it might be the inverse, but it's those two. When you're on foot, it lets you switch between weapons as well. So there really isn't much more. I don't think it controls the map. You can use it as the pointer when you're on the internet.
Okay.
Some little stuff.
Nothing too major.
And you click it, since there's no select button, you click it to change the view.
Right. Is there anything else new besides the additional animals, first person view, and some other just graphical things? What has been the most noticeable thing between GTA on the PS3 and the PS4 beyond just the graphics? Or is there something so graphically different that you're just wow, this is amazing?
I mean, the
obviously
graphics are a
improved.
big part of it.
Right.
I think the graphics are a big part of it. It's still GTA, so you still have some pop-in stuff. There's still some frame rate issues stuff, especially when this was happening to me today. I was doing some of the photography challenges, and when you zoom in, it starts to load in. You can kind of see it load in sort of where you zoomed in, or with a sniper rifle. The base game is still pretty much the same. It's those little things, the photography challenges, the extra animals, the way increased foliage in the countryside.
Yeah, how has that worked out too? Because I'm about to ask you that
It's gorgeous, and it is like it's a huge addition, but it's like a little thing, right? It's a lot of attention to detail like that.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like the graphics have been more like attention to detail kind of stuff, and have made that made the world more real than the PS3 version or Xbox 360 version.
I mean, I think so, especially when you mix it in with first person. You up-res the textures, you have a lot more foliage, and suddenly you can feel more present in Los Santos.
That's okay. That's what I figured. All right. So here's the ultimate question, of course.
Okay.
Let's say I own the previous one. I do own the PS3 version.
Yeah.
And you of course own the PS3 version. Is it worth it? I mean, even if you're not going to play online, like you've played through the PS3 version 100%, you've got everything unlocked.
Yeah.
You probably don't plan to play online. I mean, obviously you do, and you have the system that makes sense to get the new version. But let's say you don't. Like, is it still worth purchasing? Like, is it still worth playing again? Especially like you are sort of playing the story mission again.
Yeah, because I when I had it on the PS3, I finished the story and I did a little bit of online stuff. Playing through the story mode again is fun. Like, look, it's not a great story. It's not really well written. There are obvious social challenges happening right now in the universe about it. But it's a fun game. It's an entertaining game. And if that's a reason to start doing it again, then again, if you've played the PS3 version and you're like, I don't really like the story very much, you could probably sit this one out.
Okay. So pretty much. All right. So here's the last question.
Okay.
You can 100% it?
I'll try.
Like everything, all trophies, all that stuff.
I'll try.
Okay.
There are some things, with because GTA has a long history of cheat codes for doing funny stuff, right?
Right.
But now with these new systems, you use cheat codes and suddenly you can't get trophies or they're disabled for your session, and some people are having issues with those. So hopefully I don't hit anything like that, but I definitely want to try out more of these side missions. I've been starting to find more spaceship parts and doing these wildlife photography challenges, and that's interesting. It's fun. I like a little collectible stuff like that. Like, what is it? Infamous. The first two Infamous games, where like half of that game is just going around and finding the glowing crystals. Like, I am kind of in love with that because it's just a little bit of not mindless, but it's a fun routine.
Even then, like GTA has, of course, I think there's a side mission where you're collecting the pages for like a murder mystery.
Right. There's those.
And that kind of adds not just simply you grab these pictures, but like it actually adds another story kind of thread going on as you're sort of finding these pages and things like that.
And one of the new additions is a similar collection. You find notes scrawled around on buildings and stuff, and that gives you. I don't know if it gives you a mission for Michael, but I know that in the end of it, you get like new filters for when he uses the camera.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
You get new filters, and I feel like there was something else. Maybe it was like a ringtone or something. But it's like a little thing.
That's still interesting, though.
But like in stuff like that, the hunt is the reward, right?
Right.
Finding all the stuff and knowing you found it all is its own payback.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to grabbing it on a PC when it finally comes out.
Yeah,
I did not finish it on the PS3 version, and I really want to finish that game.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you were like about halfway through, maybe a little further.
Yeah, I just got a little not fed up with my PS3. Just like I'm just done with the console, and I was like, well, I'm not in a bad way. Just like I'd gotten my gaming PC, I saw graphics, and I heard like, oh, it's coming for next gen. Well, I'll just wait till then and play the game.
That's January 2015 is what it looks like.
Yeah. I've waited longer. All right, and now it's like it's my turn.
Yeah, all right. So let me ask you questions about Smash.
Yes.
So we're talking about Smash Wii U and Smash DS.
Correct.
Which, okay, it's kind of fucked up that there's not a subtitle, right? Is it a little fucked up? That
It's a
there's not
little
sub-title?
messy that it's Super Smash Brothers for the 3DS and Super Smash Brothers the Wii U. This would be, I guess, let's see, we had Smash,
Melee,
Brawl. I guess it's
and now these two.
Yeah, this is the fourth incarnation of the
Fourth-ish,
Smash.
fifth-ish.
Yeah, of the Smash franchise.
Yeah. Okay, so there's, so you've got these two games, and there's like no communication between them. There's no cross-platform play.
Well, the only communication is that you can use the 3DS as a controller for the Wii U. But beyond that, no, they don't share any stats or anything like that.
Not even. Oh, okay. I thought even something like maybe trophies.
You can share your, like, if you have your Mii Fighter on the 3DS, you've customized and you've added items, things like that. You can share it with the bigger brother Wii U version.
Okay.
So if you have a customized fighter that you've worked on and sort of leveled up, you can do that. But beyond that, no trophy sharing, no progress sharing. That was a kind of frustrating for me because I had unlocked so much on the 3DS, and also because there's some levels that are not either A, I haven't unlocked yet, or B, are non-existent on the Wii U that really bum me out.
Wait, you're like stages, like
Yeah.
fight, like.
And again, this is how much I'm into this game. I really I bought the 3DS version, one because I wanted to play it and I had the 3DS at the time, but because I really wanted to get that CD deal that if you buy the 3DS and the Wii U version, you can ship off for when I think comes in sometime next year.
Soundtrack?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And because you're able to sort of access a lot of those musics in the soundtracks in the games, I was super looking forward to hearing certain songs off the 3DS version on the Wii U version, just in better sound and better stereo and things like that.
Oh, so these games are like noticeabally different. It sounds like.
Yeah, well, because
Like game modes.
Okay,
Can we
so
start with game modes.
sure.
What's different between these two? Obviously, you're gonna have local player.
Right.
Online.
Yes. So the big difference is on the 3DS, there's a sort of this adventure mode, where you're sort of I forget the exact name of the mode, but you are put in this sort of free kind of roaming level that you're beating up people, collecting power ups and things like that. And then after all that's done, you then fight against 4 players, either a computer or other humans, depending if you're playing online or not.
Okay.
And it can be anything from just a straight brawl match to a team match to don't die here, or some type of match where you're using your powers you've collected as your custom character. On the Wii U side, the big major change is this, I think it's called Smash Tour, where you sort of play this sort of board game kind of Smash game, whereas you collect powers, and if you bump up against each other, you fight, and then after so many turns, you end up doing a similar kind of 4-player match.
Okay.
Classic mode is different between the two. In the 3DS, it's more of kind of a linear path that you're going to. In the Wii U version, you kind of have this sort of figure that you move around, and you end up fighting different battles and things like that.
Sure.
It's a bit different between the two. I guess the major change is levels and the kind of look, because obviously the Wii U has a lot more power than the 3DS.
Yeah.
And things like Final Destination just look amazing. Like they have these 1080p, 60 frame per second backgrounds that are just completely mesmerizing as sort of the backdrops for the giant battles you're about to have.
Sure. So you've got these two versions, and so some of the single player stuff is being handled differently,
Right.
on each of them. Character roster, or is it the same?
Character roster is exactly the same.
And the fighting stages, though, the stages themselves, same roster, or
For the most part. There are some that are not on the 3DS. Obviously, a lot of the bigger levels that you can't quite put on. I don't think Temple's on the 3DS. The Hyrule Temple, a very famous level in Smash history. Obviously, Onet is on the Wii U and not on the 3DS. But in that same accord, Magicent is on the 3DS and not on the Wii U. So there's a couple of changes, just level wise. But for the most part, all the levels exist between the two. There's some core levels that are are between the two for sure.
Now, going from Melee to the Wii U DS versions, how much is sort of carried over material, and how much is sort of new content? Because we know there's a lot of new characters,
Right,
and corresponding stages, but like Hyrule and Onet are still in the game.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, just ballpark, like, of a ratio of like new and returning content?
Well, let's see. Specifically between Brawl and
Wii U DS.
Wii U DS.
Wii U DS.
It's hard. I would say maybe returning probably 30, 40, maybe 50%.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of shared stuff. I mean, obviously certain characters didn't come along, like Snake, just couldn't come along because of Konami, stuff like that.
Sure.
But Brawl did continue having Sonic come along with it. We obviously have, our new friend from Namco, Pac-Man, in there.
Yeah.
Which he wasn't present in there, and that brings its own sort of things like one of the items in the game is the Galaga alien that kind of pulls you over. I forgot which alien it is in the game, but that becomes an item, and then some other kind of fun Namco reference things.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I mean, yes, we don't have certain characters, but we have new ones too. It's always weird when it comes to saying, well, what's carried over, because it's hard for me to say, well, yeah, that's gone, but there's something else in its place that kind of makes up for it at times. Because the thing is, like, there's things that have stayed, like Snake in Melee had the ability to have these sort of either Melee or Brawl, I forget where Snake came in, had these sort of things where if you did the taunt at a certain point in Snake's level, you heard you had Otacon or somebody come in over there. It's like, oh, it's Ness, he's this character, whatever, and giving him sort of background details. They've replaced that in terms of what's called Palutena's guidance, where if you play as Pit in Palutena's temple and do the same kind of taunt thing, Palutena and other characters from the Kid Icarus world will come in and kind of explain these characters and give the kind of funny backstories and sort of witty banter on, like, oh, look, it's Pikachu, he's so cute, and things like that.
Okay.
So there's what has stayed is a lot of just the gameplay and the trophy collection a lot. I'd say probably that's the core thing that stayed throughout the whole series.
Sure. Now, how much of your time, because you got the gamepad bundle, right?
Yeah.
So how much of your time was spent with the Wii U gamepad?
I would say about maybe 50%.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Only because, like, the way I tend to game a lot with my Wii U is actually using the gamepad. I thought I wouldn't when I got the Wii U originally. But because it's so goddamn convenient just to boot it up, go into a game, use the pad, it is a bit cumbersome at times, and I'll say it's definitely not the ideal. I would say about 50% has been with the gamepad, just to kind of get through certain things, kind of just jam through stuff, and the other 50% has been with the GameCube controller.
Okay. Now, online. Have you played much online?
Yes, I have actually played online.
Did you play much of Melee online?
I did not play much of. You mean 3DS version or the Brawl?
The last
version. Okay.
title.
Yeah, I didn't play much of that online at all.
Okay. So just on its own, how do you think the online element is? Like the netcode, the stability, just the overall performance?
I'll say this. They recommend you have the wired adapter, and damn it if they're not right. Because I tried it out recently with a friend of mine, and there was some like major pausing delays and everything else like that. Like, 'cause like, the Wii U is wireless, at least for me. This is my experience,
Sure.
and the way my network's set up is my Wii U is pretty much like, but inches away from the Wi-Fi router. And I don't know if it's because that was my connection, and it was because my friend's connections to the internet and things like that. But as I was playing the game, it would pause like briefly as the rest of the action kind of caught up on the other side. So just like a very, not like a lag per se, but just like a and kind of stutter at times.
Oh.
But I don't know if it's, again, I don't know if it was because of my connection or because of my friend's connections. But beyond that, everything was smooth. I mean, it was easy to play. It wasn't, it didn't feel, at those were very minor times. So the netcode felt solid. Connection was very easy to get going. The voice sort of interface is a bit wonky.
For like communications?
Yeah, because you can only do it during like the in between the matches.
Oh.
And they never really tell you this, but if you have like an iPhone headset, it will use that microphone on there versus the onboard microphone. And if you don't change your settings down to, like, for me, I didn't set the sensitivity all the way down. I immediately overmodulated in that, and it was very weird at times because I could never figure out how to fix that until after the match was done.
Okay. And the online is only standard multiplayer?
Yeah,
there's
online,
not like special modes.
No, well, there are two modes. So there's the for fun and for glory. That was kind of used to the 3DS mode. The idea being that For fun matches, or it can be at any levels, any kind of settings, things like that. Whereas for Glory is purely online, it's ranked, and it's all the Omega versions of the levels. That being sort of the final destination, flat, no items. Your, for lack of better words, your MLG Pro kind of play style. And I tend to play the friend side. I never really go into the ranking side, but I have friends of mine who always play Final Destination, no items. I've played my friend Serge, who that's all that's all he'll ever play, and that's all he ever loves to play. He hates anything else.
Yeah. Now, how easy was it for you? Because you mentioned multiple times playing with friends. Was it easy to set up games with them specifically?
Yes. Yeah. There's a mode when you set up when you go on the Wii U and you set the games, you can actually set a room just for friends, and any friends of yours can just hop in. I played with a friend Julie over there in Boston. I flipped it on very quickly, and she was able to join, no problems. Like, everything was easy. It was actually surprising how easy it was to get on, to set up. It didn't have any issues connecting to the Nintendo ID or anything like that. I mean, yes, I have all that set up anyways prior, but it was just very easy to boom, boom. Oh, cool, game time.
How did you feel about the portability of the 3DS version? What did that fit into your daily routine, having the portable element?
It did when I went to conventions. The hardest part with the 3DS version is having Street Pass, mainly because I don't really go out that much in terms of where people are playing the game. I never got that, but whenever I did get the Street Pass for the 3DS version, it just was so much more fun because you had this sort of separate game mode that you can earn coins and things like that, and it worked out. I think it definitely worked out, and I have not done it yet with the 3DS version in terms of just a normal play, but when it came to the demo, I had tried out, I think we're at Fantastic Arcade at the time, I tried out the local play, and that just worked quickly. It is insanely. And I did play it online a couple times. It worked out also solidly as well. So as much as any other system is portable, I've definitely used it, and I do. I will say being portable has added to it, if nothing more than just to be able to quickly play some Smash Brothers and kind of have fun with it.
Okay. But I mean...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, if you're not out and about very much, the Street Pass element enough is a value add for that's. I'm just trying to figure out because I have the same thing with my Vita where it's I like playing it, I like the games that are on it, but I don't really go. I'm not on the bus.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I will say this: if you do not own a 3DS already, don't rush out to buy a 3DS for Smash Brothers.
Okay.
There are other games I'll say to rush out to go purchase, a Link Between Worlds, things like that.
Okay.
But if you're like, man, I need to get a 3DS so I can play Smash Bros. For the 3DS, don't bother. Do go grab a Wii U and play Smash Brothers on your console if you really want to play Smash, because it is if you remember Smash from the past and love that experience, it is that experience and then some. And having that graphical boost really helps out. It really makes that game look as pretty as I think it can be on the hardware that's on.
Okay. Then I guess the last question, similar to what you posed, is if you've got Melee,
yeah,
is it worth moving to this new iteration? Is going from Melee to the Wii U or to the DS? Is it kind of worth it? Is there value there?
Yes. Yeah. I'll say this about...
An equivocal yes.
Yeah, no. I really enjoyed the 3DS version. The 3DS version was very much suited for that mobile console. It felt solid. It had game modes that are very quick. Nothing ever felt like it took that long to do something. If you just spent 10 minutes at the most, or longer, you felt like you accomplished something. I never felt like I didn't yet. Same thing goes to the Wii U. A lot of the modes are really fun. Having the GameCube adapter is probably the smartest thing they could have done. I mean, that's already sold apparently hyper crazy to the point where I wish I'd bought two.
Yeah.
Because people are price gouging now for the second one if nothing more to have it. But it's really fun, and definitely if you have friends who are local multiplayer. I mean, I know you guys had come over one day and we'd throw down 5 players, and it was just an insane, fun time. And so for me, yeah, I think it's worth it especially as that kind of guy that enjoys, you talk about collecting. I'm kind of want to collect all the trophies now in the game just because, I want to see what they write about, the ghost from Pac-Man or this, element from, Fire Emblem or whatever.
Sure. Okay, cool. Well, it sounds pretty solid.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, sounds good. Sounds like a smashing success.
Bryce, where can people find you online?
Sure, you can find me on Twitter at Brycas, BRYCAS, and check out the Patreon, patreon.com/Neshcom, NESHCOM.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot on the
8-Bit Life.
8-Bit Life episode. I think it's coming out pretty soon.
Will probably be out.
Probably be out when
this time.
It'll probably be out by the time this is out for sure. Of course, you can find me. I'm at Vincent404 there on the Twitters. If you want to talk about us and gaming and kind of join the discussion, maybe you have some opinions on Smash or GTA 5 for the next gen consoles that we just never thought about, head on over to our website, CosmicRadio.TV/jump point. There you'll find the area to comment that links directly to our community site, community.CosmicRadio.TV. Of course, you can hit us up on Twitter at JumpPointPod. And check the same page for all the previous content stuff. If you're watching this on YouTube, of course, hit that big old subscribe button. And you can, of course, get us on Steam as well, correct?
Yeah, we've got a Steam group. If you just search Jump Point, you'll see the big JP logo.
Yeah, we're using it to kind of keep track of all the games we've either done discussions of, and sort of, for any community events that are going to happen concerning Jump Point, we'll probably do some stuff there. So if you're on Steam, join, please, because it's a great place to play some games with us. So that's it for today. So see you next time. And as always, sproing. This has been a CosmicRadio.TV production. For more awesome shows, head on over to our website, CosmicRadio.TV.